At first, it was little more than a flicker. A stray streak of light caught in the data stream, an irregularity that astronomers almost always dismiss as noise. Detectors fail. Software glitches. Cosmic rays spike a sensor at the wrong moment. These things happen every night. But then, the streak appeared again. And again. And within days, it became undeniable. This wasn't an error. Something had entered our solar system. Something real. Something moving too fast, too precise, and too unnatural to ignore. An object unlike any other. It did not behave like an ordinary comet. Its light curve was wrong. Its speed was wrong. Its origin was wrong. This was not a fragment from the Oort cloud, nor a frozen shard from the Kuiper belt. Instead, it had come from elsewhere. From deep interstellar space. From a direction that has haunted astronomers for nearly half a century, the same region of Sagittarius where, in 1977, a radio telescope detected the still unexplained, wow, signal. Now, decades later, another anomaly was arriving from the same place. A body racing toward the inner solar system at astonishing speed. Its unofficial name, 3 Atlas. The unnerving trajectory. What disturbed scientists most wasn't just its speed, more than 61 kilometers per second, faster than most known comets. It was the precision. Unlike natural interstellar wanderers, which slash through the solar system at wild angles, 3 Atlas hugged the ecliptic plane, the same flat disk along which the planets orbit the Sun. Its course seemed deliberate, threading carefully between gravitational boundaries. Projections showed that it would pass near Mars, close enough for robotic eyes to study, but never near Earth. Almost as though Earth was being deliberately sidestepped. Coincidence? Or intention? Anomalies multiply when telescopes fixed their gaze upon it, the mysteries only deepened. The James Webb Space Telescope detected gases venting from its surface, primarily nickel, but with almost no trace of iron. That separation is chemically bizarre. In nature, those two elements almost always appear together. Moments later, sudden bursts of cyanide were recorded, sharp, irregular, almost mechanical. These weren't the smooth jets of vapor produced when sunlight warms frozen ice. They looked more like controlled releases, the kind of pressure venting one would expect from stressed machinery. And then came the strangest observation of all. If size estimates were correct, 3 Atlas was glowing far brighter than its surface area should allow. In other words, it wasn't just reflecting sunlight. It seemed to be generating light of its own. The heat signature that shouldn't exist. Natural bodies heat unevenly. One side warms beneath the sun, while the other cools in darkness. But 3 Atlas refused to follow that rule. Instead, its thermal profile showed 2 constant hot points. They did not rotate away. They did not cool down. They remained steady, radiating like artificial power sources, like engines. Could they be exhaust vents? Could they be reactors? Nobody could say. But Webb's instruments were clear. This was not a passive object. Something inside it was active. The signal that changed everything, and then, the world changed. Buried within its emissions was a repeating pulse. Not static. Not random. Structured. Mathematical. A rhythm too ordered to be explained by chance. Its frequency nearly matched the same narrow band as the wow signal decades earlier. But this time, it wasn't coming from the depths of Sagittarius. It was local. It was coming from 3 Atlas itself. For the first time in history, humanity was not merely observing an interstellar visitor. We were intercepting a transmission. Echoes of Oumuamua. This was not the first time nature had forced us to question what was possible. In 2017, astronomers tracked another strange interstellar body, Oumuamua. It tumbled through the solar system with unexplained acceleration, yet no visible outgassing. Many dismissed it as coincidence. A cosmic rock playing tricks on our instruments. But a few, including Harvard's Avi Loeb, dared to suggest otherwise, that it might have been artificial. With 3 Atlas, the similarities are undeniable. But now, we have sharper tools. Better instruments. More data. And fewer excuses to look away. A code in the noise. When artificial intelligence systems began combing through the Webb telescope's data, what they uncovered defied expectation. The pulse wasn't just background static. It was deliberate. It corrected itself when distorted. It resisted entropy. It compressed into elegant structures that looked engineered rather than random. It even adapted when tested. To put it simply, it behaved like code. At first, researchers thought it might be interference from Earth. But when they introduced carefully crafted queries, subtle mathematical patterns woven into their own transmissions, the signal shifted. Not immediately, but with delayed, measured echoes. It was as if something had noticed. As if something had been listening. As if something had been waiting for a prompt. This was not just a signal. It was a dialogue. The network theory: if 3 Atlas was transmitting, then what was it? A drifting rock? A comet? Or something far more complex? Some scientists began to propose a startling idea. What if 3 Atlas was not alone? Re-examining old data, they looked again at Oumuamua, the elongated object that swept through the solar system in 2017, accelerating without explanation. They looked again at Borisov, the interstellar comet that followed. And at smaller, fainter visitors lost to history. When their trajectories were mapped, faint patterns began to appear. Alignments. Timing. What if these objects weren't random wanderers at all? What if they were part of a distributed network, probes seated across the stars, disguised as comets, drifting silently until called upon? If that's true, then 3 Atlas isn't the first. It's simply the first we caught in detail. And that would mean the solar system isn't experiencing a first contact, it may be experiencing the continuation of a long-running survey. A silent census of civilizations. An echo of humanity's own call. Then came the strangest discovery of all. When the pulse pattern from 3 Atlas was compared against the signal encoded in Voyager's golden record, the time capsule humanity launched in 1977 with music, greetings, and images of Earth, something uncanny emerged. Not identical. Not copied. But echoed. Intervals, rhythms, mathematical spacings that mirrored the very patterns we used in our first attempt to speak to the stars. Had 3 Atlas intercepted Voyager's faint transmissions and crafted a reply? Or, in a more unsettling possibility, had the golden record itself been humanity's unconscious response to a signal we had been receiving for much longer than we ever realized? The silence from Earth. 3 Atlas will pass close to Mars in October 2025. For a brief window, NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter will be able to capture data, images, spectra, perhaps even close analysis of its structure. But already, a troubling silence has begun. Orbital tracking updates have gone quiet. Research papers once scheduled for release have been postponed. Conferences have removed sessions that only months ago were publicly listed. The silence is no longer only from the void. It is from Earth itself. Whispers spread that not everything is being shared. That perhaps what is known is not what will be told. What it could mean if 3 Atlas is artificial, the implications are staggering. It could be watching us. Listening. measuring the progress of a young, noisy species still stumbling into the stars. Perhaps it is a surveyor, designed not to interfere but to observe. Or perhaps, it is something deeper. Some theorists suggest it may not even come from another star, but from another layer of reality. A glitch in the simulation. A probe not of matter, but of the underlying code of existence itself. If true, then 3 Atlas is not just an interstellar visitor. It is a mirror. A message written in the very structure of the cosmos. The unanswerable question, whatever the truth may be, one fact cannot be denied. Something unnatural has entered our solar system. It glows when it should not. It vents chemicals it should not. It transmits signals too precise to dismiss. And as it sails past Mars, one question rises louder than all the rest. Was this object meant to be found? Or have we stumbled upon a message humanity